There we
Get
go.
that shit out of here, man.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
We can discuss because that's an interesting discussion, and to me, well, let's wait for the podcast to start.
And then you get all the arguments. Well, you don't need.
Anyway,
I don't need a
what's
car,
up?
but
What's
damn,
up? we're talking about
but it's
something.
definitely convenient as shit.
I don't know if this started on Twitter or whatever, but
What?
the I don't know if it's been known because John Linneman brought it up when he was talking about the Super Mario RPG analysis, which that game struggles. That does. Anyway, we're talking about 60 frames per second when you remake an old game. I think remasters, I don't think it's ever happened, but when you remake a game, you build a new game from scratch, new game engine and stuff. Then from the original, you don't use the original code underneath like Shadow of the Colossus did and Metroid Prime. You know, it's the original game with just they changed the visuals. When they do full on remakes, and the original game ran at 60 FPS and looked great on the console it came out on, and then you do a remake 20 years later, and and it's running at 30 FPS or a struggling 60 FPS, and it does make you wonder, like this many generations later, if the game, and it's GameCube games a couple times for sure. It's like if the GameCube game could run it still looks pretty damn good looking at the old footage of Thousand Year Door running at 60, then should that have been their standard? So I think Thousand Year Door is the most recent example. Then there's a Tales game or I can't remember which exactly one it was. It was at the Dreamcast game that was ported to GameCube that then got a Switch port or that ran.
Oh, that was
30.
that's gosh. Yeah, Skies of Arcadia.
Skies of Arcadia. Well, either way, it's like most of the time, there's a lot of examples where it either improves the frame rate or at least keeps the frame rate the original version had. A lot of times, though, they improve the frame rate and the visuals, you know. So with a Thousand Year Door, I mean, the game does look clean for sure. They're targeting 30 FPS. And I think T, you had a stance about, like I said, the original game ran at 60, so don't do a remake.
Yeah, the original game is 60. For somebody, especially who played the hell out of that game and knows how it feels, going to 30, I don't give a damn how clean it is. It's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel right to me when I've had that super smooth 60, FPS game or 60, FPS gameplay. So, if you're gonna remaster or remake a game, at least start at the base of what the game did 20 years ago. Can we at least do that and then grow from there? Most people would be fine. Most people just wanted to play the game again, so you don't have to go kooky crazy with the visuals. But who knows? People always make excuses in these situations. Well, look what they did. They started from scratch. They make all these excuses that they don't really have like the evidence for. It's just of like their ideas of what they think is the reason. But if you have to do that, then it's already a fail. If you have to come up with a reason for why the game doesn't do something, then why. It's already a fail.
Because it's on the damn Switch. That's why. I know there's examples of 60, but I'm just kidding. So Visor, it was the Tales of Symphonia. They ported the PS2 version, which was already 30. That's the one where the original code got lost. Apparently, the original code for the GameCube game that ran at 60 is gone forever for whatever. I don't know how that works, but apparently that's gone. They can't port a game because that doesn't exist anymore. The game, can't you just take the GameCube game and take the code off? Like, I don't know how they can't import that off the disc and get there.
I don't think it's that straightforward.
I don't know.
Square has that problem like a lot of their stuff with a lot of the Final Fantasy games, Kingdom Hearts actually. A lot of them just didn't. It's kind of like
Sega Saturn. A lot of those games, they lost a lot of code for those games, so if they wanted to, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that's just an issue of back in the day, we were just trying to get the game out. We weren't worrying about preservation and shit. And then we found out people really like the game. People were like, oh shit, you like this game? Maybe we should, oh fuck. John, where we put the code at? John. Oh, John is dead. Damn.
John's dead.
Well, I guess
I
we
think
gotta
in
make. I
Square's
guess we.
instance, it would be like a Ryu or something. Like I'm trying to think of a Japanese name, and I was drawing a blank. Like not a John.
Ryozan. It's Ryozan.
Rio.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So for me, like I guess it depends on. To me, I'm gonna be the guy. I like if it's a
Maybe
if it's an action game,
devil's
yes.
advocate.
If it's an action game that ran at 60 on the previous, you don't want to drop down to 30, and just to like have the visuals be the best they can be. But I guess I'd take it on a game by game basis. So
I would say RPGs are the only ones I'm willing to make an exception for.
and then
Everything else.
Well, yeah, you even have the example of
An exception. It's a game I haven't fucking played already. But if it's a game I played, I know how it feels. It's going to bother me if I play it half the frame rate. And it's just going to. I mean, yeah, you don't need it for RPG gameplay, but that's not the problem. The problem is like I like smooth visuals when I've had them. That's what the issue is.
I think there's been instances where even not a port or a remake, like the sequel has gone from. There's been sequels that the previous game was 60, and then they release a new game, maybe a new generation, like the PS4 generation was notorious. Like almost every game was 30 FPS. You know, like I don't know if they had any of their major games at 60, even.
That was just the thing in that generation.
And so like God of War was always 60 FPS, the original games. Obviously it's a fixed camera perspective. You know, you couldn't move a camera around, but then they come out with the God of War 2018 and it's 30 FPS. So, you know, it's happened. And if they take like the code, like Shadow of the Colossus I brought, that's just the base code. They port the code and then they just put their new game engine over the top of it. I think that game, if they wanted to, you could have had the little toggle where you can switch back and forth. They didn't. Maybe that would have been way harder, where you can switch back and forth between the old visuals and the new visuals, because some games do that. So that game ran at 15 frames per second on PS2, and the base PS4 version ran at 30, and then the PS4 Pro option, you had a 60 FPS at 1080p option. But just going from 15, that's probably being nice for that, some of the moments in that game, and having like a locked 30, that was a huge improvement for that game. That game always struggled. Now if the old game ran perfect, it's flawless, then yeah, you don't want to like go backwards. But every time I think like, oh man, 60 is so nice, playing on PS5, and then I think, well, I got 310 hours on Breath of the Wild at 30, and 20 to 30 FPS doesn't really. I mean, it's nice for sure, but for that game, 60 feels nice, but it's not mandatory. So it's like, it really depends. Like a fighting game, I wouldn't want it, like, don't remake Soul Calibur 1 and have it be 30 FPS. That's where I would be.
But here's the thing. I'm glad we brought Soul Calibur, because I remember the first time I saw Soul Calibur, and I was blown away. Yeah, the graphics look good, but it was also about that 60, man. It looks so smooth.
Yeah.
That animation, like it was a big. Yeah, I mean, obviously you still want 60 frames on a fighting game or a shooting game.
That's come from N64, where 20 FPS was like a lot
that's what blew my mind, is how smooth it looked. So again, a game that I rinsed already. I mean, for me, I'm not gonna buy the game. Like, I probably wouldn't have bought it if it was 60. But I'm just saying, it's kind of, to me, it's just like, it's a principle thing. It's just like, well, we had this game, super smooth on the GameCube. I mean, I thought technology is supposed to scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I could play something at 60 frames 20 years ago, yes, the graphics are obviously more, but shouldn't it scale to where I should be still playing something at 60
honestly,
frames?
I don't think the visuals.
I just don't understand how.
It's not like, yeah, it's significant, but it's not as obvious as what I brought up last week, like Alan Wake to Alan Wake 2. It's a lot of lighting stuff I feel is improved, and obviously I'm gonna assume they're using the Origami King engine, which that was a 30 FPS game. I mean, it's a clean looking game, and I really don't think like it's gonna have a negative effect on the experience, but at the same time, what is it a situation like I think Robert, since he's not here, I think what he was saying, what more than likely, there's probably moments where that game could hit 60, and they with Super Mario RPG, it's basically uncapped with a six. It's capped at 60, but it fluctuates. The game runs at 40 for long stretches, and I don't think Super Mario RPG looks that good where I wouldn't have thought it could hit a lock 60. I don't know, Terrell, you're playing it, I'm not, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like it's pushing the Switch that much. I don't know, man, am I wrong? What do you think?
I wouldn't say it's pushing it. To me, not that much, honestly.
Yeah, so I was surprised to see how poorly it runs in the Link's Awakening remake. There was one area where it dipped just into the 40s. There's a lot of water effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But that game looks really good. Like, to me, that's like leagues ahead of Super Mario RPG. And it's like, so what? I think it's just, honestly, it was always going to be tough. I made this comment a long time ago about all the 60 FPS games on Wii U versus the Switch within the first like 2 or 3 years. And the Wii U didn't have quite as many as I initially thought. There's still some 30 FPS games on there, but initially, like 2014, I think you had Tropical Freeze, Mario Kart 8, Smash, Bayonetta 2, all 60 FPS games. Some other than Bayonetta 2, they're all locked. And then you had like Hyrule Warriors, which struggled to hit 30. So, but for the most part, the Wii U was pretty good at 60 FPS games.
So you're telling me that the Switch can't do a 2D plane, it's a lock camera RPG at 60 frames when I had Mario Galaxy or Mario Odyssey in 2017, and that game is fucking beautiful and runs locked 60 for a 3D. Like, it'll make sense to me. Like, I'm trying to make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, don't know what goes into development and what's up to Cray and Donnie. You guys commented
What's
a
up,
little bit.
squad?
I get that, but if you really break down Odyssey,
oh, is it Unity?
Yeah,
Or Mario RPG?
Oh,
okay. Well,
yeah.
That explains a lot.
That explains that. I wonder what Link's Awakening's engine
Yeah,
is.
it is Unity. And I can go check real quick.
We know Wonder, they use the Breath of Wild engine. Like,
I'd go check real quick.
How did they turn the Breath of Wild engine into a 2D Mario game engine? That's crazy to me.
That's crazy.
But Pikmin 4 looks really good. That's 30 FPS and that's full 3D. And I mean, that looks pretty damn good. But as far as the 60 FPS game,
Unreal Engine 5.
What?
Link's Awakening.
Unreal Engine 4, you mean?
Wait, what?
Doesn't use
Oh,
5.
wait. Oh, did it lie to me? Hold on.
That's probably. I doubt
it.
I'd be shocked if it used Unreal Engine at all.
Oh, lie. Oh, let me go back and check because that doesn't sound right.
Because
that would be Yoshi's Crafted World.
Yeah, Crafted World uses Unreal Engine 4. We mastered it. That was 60 FPS. You gotta give him, but that had some really low resolution sections. So that's the trade-off.
It was 60 FPS, but that was blurry as hell.
There's some areas where I was like, Jesus, like this looks really bad. So, I just hope that the Switch 2 can have a good, competent CPU where we don't have to worry as much about this. Because honestly, as soon as they like really revealed the specs of the Switch and we found out they clocked in at 50%, like it was gonna be tough for a lot of games. There has been some, like Metroid Prime Remastered. That's unbelievable that 60 FPS as good as it looks. That's honestly just really like objectively looking at
what console was that on?
GameCube and Switch.
Oh, was it a GameCube game?
But again, that's one where they're using the base game and just bringing the visuals up, So it's like you would expect that. I'm sure they hit a point. Maybe they tried to push more visuals and said, nope, if we can't hit 60, we drew them back down. Even though it looks fucking amazing. So yeah, I mean, there's examples of that. It's few and far
It looks
between.
better than the Dolphin mod
Yeah,
on
there's no
PC.
question it looks better than anything anybody's ever tried to do to make that game look.
Yeah.
And imagine like what's the Yuzu version of Metroid Prime look like at 4K? I'd be curious. I've never. Robert made a comment that I only like switch visuals when they're on PC, and I'm like, I have other than Breath of the
That's
Wild,
hilarious,
other than
Loki.
like Breath of the Wild and like a few other games, have I ever even looked? I have no idea. I've never even looked up. Maybe Metro. I think I did Metroid Dread just to see what that art style would look like with cleaner visuals, and it doesn't look that much different, to be honest. The PC, like 1080p 60 version. What's up, 12 feet? Games on don't PS5 don't hit 1080p 60. Okay, I'm sure there are games that don't do it, but they're pushing some pretty.
Yeah, again, this is not me wishing the Switch had more power. I don't give a fuck. Look, I got videos to prove
I
it.
wonder what
What I'm saying is, this is a game I played before at 60 FPS.
and you're
I
remaking
would like it to be, yeah, you're remaking it on more powerful hardware. Can you target 60 FPS?
So supposedly,
It's just they don't care about that. They didn't
so
care.
from what I looked up, supposedly, Link's Awakening is using the same engine that Yoshi's Crafted World used.
that was Unreal Engine 4.
Really?
That's supposedly what's happening. Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard to find out. You would think that like
Yeah,
Digital Foundry Digital Foundry was like the main people who even brought that up to light. That's the same engine as that,
12
which
feet,
would make sense.
12 feet Switch broke. Perfect time to get an OLED. If you didn't have one. Thousand Year Door must be more graphically intense. I wouldn't say. I don't. There's different graphical settings that are more demanding and maybe not as visually obvious. Like there's on PC back when I was doing more PC gaming. There's some settings that you don't even see a visual change, and it gives you like 10 more FPS. So it's like that setting is if you zoom in, you can see just a little bit more 3D. Like the ground looks has a little more depth to it. What's that, chromatic aberration or whatever that one's called? And it's like you turn it off, you're like, it's just the ground. Like, and I gained 10, 12 FPS. So yeah. So I guess we don't want to get into the main topic. Robert's supposed to be here. He was waiting for some food. I'm trying to think. I didn't beat any games to talk about. Terrell, where are you at with Tears of the Kingdom? Because I know T, you were talking about you were going to put some time in. I don't know if you did, but
so I mentioned last night in the message. Yep. I finished Zora's Domain, and then I said, "Fuck it, let me go see all the memories or the tears." And then I was like, "Wait a minute, this doesn't seem like it's all of them." And then you get the cutscene with the dragon, and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" And then so you have to go find that tear.
Yeah, there's an extra one.
And I go look, and I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Because I didn't realize the revelation you get when that one, and then you have to get on top of the dragon to do that event. I'm not gonna, and essentially I get the other flashback, and I'm like, and actually I was genuinely shocked when I got to that revelation. I was like, what the fuck? And now I think I've done most of the major stuff, so I've now also have the Master Sword. So my goal. I'll probably do it after we finish the podcast. I'm gonna go storm that fucking castle. I think what I'm about to go do. I've done everything else. I've at least all the major plot stuff.
Did you like stumble across the Master Sword, or were you on the quest to get it?
I didn't know that's where the Master Sword was at.
Because the way I played, it became really obvious once I go to the Korok Forest and do the stuff you need to do. Like it makes it obvious for you what you have to do to get the sword.
I never went to the Korok Forest because it still has that black miasma over it, I think. I never went to the forest. I don't think I went to the forest.
You never talked to Deku Tree?
Well, I've talked to Hesu and got like the upgrades to the weapon slots.
You didn't do anything involving the Deku Tree?
No.
That's crazy that they had to design. They have to still make that work because I didn't.
Wait, so wait, how did you get the sword?
They should stop doing that.
How did you?
Yeah, they should stop doing that.
Wait a minute. So is there a different way you get the sword if you don't go?
You get the sword the same way, but you unlock like that dragon appears after I did the thing in the Deku Tree.
No, the dragon appeared once I got the final memory.
Because they must thought, well, somebody might not go to the Korok Forest, so that. Well,
okay. So here's the thing. So here's my thing. I thought I'd already been seeing the dragon. It could have been a different dragon. I didn't realize.
I mean, there's 3 other dragons.
Yeah. So my brain was like, maybe that's not the same dragon. But as soon as you do the final tier, it shows you a cutscene of the dragon.
Yeah. Well, I had already known the dragon because I did the Master Quest sword quest before. Well, I didn't
know that was a quest line. Wait, how do you get that quest line by just talking to the Deku Tree?
Yeah. And it's too late for you now. I missed almost 50 quests in the game, and I can't find. I've searched everywhere. I couldn't find. So it just must be like Elden Ring, where you miss them, you miss them. If you miss it, you don't start it, and then something else happens, you lose it.
The idea I'm getting is that like if you went and did Impa's thing all the way through before talking to the Deku Tree, you essentially skip the Deku Tree quest.
You could probably still do that, but for me, it's like.
Well, I don't know what the quest is. I haven't talked to him, so I don't know what the quest is. But yeah,
look at this man. He got games in his background.
I do like the whole pulling the Master Sword thing. Doesn't require hearts this time. It requires the other thing. I thought that was kind of cool. Also, it's a really cool shot. It's one of the few times you'll catch me take a picture.
Everybody took a picture of that after that moment.
Because I was just like, God, that's hard. And then the story behind it, just I was like, my heart.
Incredible, man, incredible.
Like I said, best story Nintendo's ever come up.
So with. I need to storm the castle. And that's about it. After that, I think I've done everything else. I'm gonna hit that castle. I'm gonna try to do it tonight, especially because of what's happening.
Well, just the final, if you just went straight to the final boss fight, I think you gotta give yourself about an hour.
That's fine.
Probably throw that
if
last
you want to do the castle and
tough.
stuff, like above ground castle, and just kind of explore there, you're gonna be in for at least an hour, 2 hours there.
Isn't that where you're supposed to go? Is the above ground castle?
Go there. You can go there. There's something there.
I gotta figure out how to get there. That's the problem. Because I'm already in the area and it has the little waterfalls, and I'm like, oh well, I need the Zora outfit, and I already have that.
Just make the hover bike.
Get that hover bike.
Once you make the hover bike and make it in your favorites, it's hard to not use it.
No, I've been using rockets a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't actually use the hover bike until I beat the game, so it was kind of different. So I imagine if for that I would have
until I did everything I wanted to do first, except for the Yiga.
I've been on some. I was on some Jackass style shit. I'll be real with you, where I just didn't make these shitty contraptions that just did enough to get me where I needed to be. I will say the Zora one took me a while because I didn't realize what the fuck they wanted me to do to trigger the next event.
Was it a side quest or the main quest where you had to solve a riddle in the sky? I think
that's the part.
I love that shit.
No. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying I was surprised because I was like, damn, I haven't even gotten to the damn dungeon yet.
It was a multi-stage quest that ended with the rocks, one of the floating islands, there's rocks that formed a shape. I forget what shape it was, and then there's
it's a fish. It's like a sea fish.
Yeah, and it was just I love that kind of stuff. I love
it. Took me a minute to realize what you had to do, because I saw it and then I kept exploring other sky areas around it, thinking there was another way for me to go up, and then I found this one. There's an island shaped like a star that if you stand in the middle of it, it drops the platform.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those. That's
and I was and I started messing around and stuff. But that is probably one of the cooler. I don't know which one is my favorite though. Honestly, I like
to me that whole process, getting to it, figuring out that riddle, and then there's after you beat the 10, there's also another riddle that takes you back up in there, and I was like, man, that was cool. I actually had to remember where I got lucky because I was a little confused, and I was like, well, let me just teleport to fast travel to this spot, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the area. And then I found whatever the quest was, the quest item or a person I think you have to find.
I think after doing the main things while also doing shrines in the background, I think I agree with the idea that Tears of the Kingdom has better like main dungeons but weaker shrines overall. I think that's how I feel about it. The main dungeons are great. I literally don't have an issue really with any of them. It's just I think the shrines are absolutely weaker. Absolutely.
There's a couple that are really cool, but overall, I'd say they're pretty weak.
There's some cooler ones.
There's some cool ones early on. I was like, wow, this is like multi-stage. Yeah. I got to make a hoverboat. I got to do all this stuff. And then there's just like, I just one room and then, do one little thing. And, I can either try to get the chest or I can just go and get the, whatever. I forget the things we're called in that.
Yeah, I forgot
to. Spirit orbs.
Yeah.
So... one thing I was going to talk to you about, because I kind of felt like we were in agreement, but now I felt like I liked being out and, it was out in the open, and I loved the setting was great, and the little timing, the puzzles and things you had to do, the challenges, I guess you will, for each little area to unlock the thing you needed. I thought for me it was the most fun, most interesting. So that was that, and then there's one, I don't know if you've got a fifth sage, I guess they're called sages. I don't know if you did that in the underground, the depths. That one's really cool too.
No, I haven't even really touched the depths at all.
Wait, what? Wait, so you don't have that?
You're going, yeah. There's a fifth sage. It's like it's a.
Wait,
really
hold on,
cool
but
quest.
don't they talk about it to you already?
Hold on.
If you go talk to Pura, she tells you to go. But you can go do whatever. Like that's what you were saying. Like the out of order shit. Like you were.
I'll say retro went super out of order. It was very cool. Like some of the dialogue that they wrote for people that did things in different orders.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
finding tears and
out of
order and all that kind of shit.
Because Terrell, you could just walk past. What is that? Central Tower town. That's like your hub town. And just go right to the castle and beat it, and you would never have known there's like this there's another one of the best side quests in the game is, well, actually it's tied to the fifth sage. It starts.
Well, the fifth sage is a main quest.
Is it?
So I'm curious.
It's a main quest, but it's optional because he could just go beat the game.
So, no, but I'm saying like that's what I'm saying. Like you haven't gotten that yet. Like I feel like they would have told.
No, they haven't.
Probably hasn't even talked.
The first time I heard about the fifth sage was from y'all. You Juices mentioned it like once before to me.
So back when I was. You weren't checking
in. Maybe we're making it up and trying to make it crazy.
I wasn't checking. Like I would beat an area.
Like Pura and that other.
No, I would beat an area and then go to the next one. I wouldn't double back the Pura.
There's a sixth stage too.
No, but I will say it's a main quest, but it's obviously not required to beat the game and see the credits. But it is one of the coolest things between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I think. Like,
yeah, it is very cool. I was like,
the jungle area, the jungle. There's like the snake. What do you call those? Made out of stone.
Outposts?
No, the stone.
Structure.
They're like the ruins with like snake figures and stuff. And there's this one of the. Why am I drawing a blank and everything? The spirit areas with like the.
Old.
It's called. I haven't played either game in like.
Grandpa.
Yeah, I mean, no. Look, I don't remember the names either, Juice. So I'm horrible names.
Like the
so
three main spiritual areas where you have the goddess statues in the first game. Well, one of them was in
Springs.
The Springs, yeah.
You can remember Springs.
You always say with the cameras rolling. I can't remember with the cameras rolling.
I don't remember these. I don't remember them.
The Spirit Springs. There's one with you go in like the ruins in like it's in a jungle area. Well, it starts there. It goes into the sky and then it goes into the depths, and it's like it's so involved.
Yeah.
I was just, and there's like another one where it involves you figuring out a riddle, and it was like super cool because I felt like I don't usually feel like I'm the player. Like I don't feel like I'm Link ever. But for me, actually having to solve this stuff organically and just figure everything out myself and do it, and then see where it went from there, and then wow, then it goes here. Now we're in the depths, and then you do one of the best temples I think is in the depths with that one.
But my mind was blown Sage is really cool. Yeah. My mind was blown as that kept going and going because I didn't expect, obviously, I don't know, I definitely didn't expect a 5th stage in the slightest. And then when they brought it up, I'm like, wow, oh, so we're not actually finishing it yet. And then it just kept going and going. I'm like, whoa, this is cool, And it just, like how you said, like the multi-step, like all layers of the world. It was so cool. Super, super cool.
So that is a negative, though, like I said about...
Well, you know what? Hang on. Wait, I just realized. I think you just haven't gotten to it yet, Terrell. Now I didn't think about it.
Well, if he doesn't talk to Puro, he can just go to the castle and beat the fucking game.
No, because...
Puro's one said to go to the castle.
I'll say, I think you're forgetting something, Juice. There's something. I'll have to message you because there's
the game lets you go. I accidentally went down and got to the final sequence well before I wanted to. I was just trying to explore the castle.
Okay. No, I get you, but I'm saying is like what his next step is something that I don't know. Like what he's about to do, he's for sure gonna do is something that I actually forgot that connects. That's why I don't know.
Yeah, but the point is he could miss it. He could.
The odds of him missing this is crazy. I highly doubt he somehow gets to the final boss. I just don't see it to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but if
what I'm saying, because that's what kind of.
If he goes to the castle, he can do whatever he needs to do, and then go and then do the final thing without doing any of the cool stuff we just talked about.
Sure.
And then say, "Hey, I beat the game." Credits rolled. So that to me it's a negative because it robs people of really cool experiences. Now, you could say that hey, that's going to drag the game on. Somebody doesn't want to do all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like that's a pretty important story thing for the game. Like you're gonna miss that major part of the story. I'm sure they'll mention it probably somehow, but in the ending, I don't know. But he already got the Master Sword he just ended up there and without doing like the Deku Tree stuff. So anyway, that's the point for me. Any open world game that has cool content, whether Cyberpunk has really cool side quests involving like God, I want to say someone kidnaps a child or ransom a child or something, but it sounds really dark. But it was a really cool and a really like great story, and it's completely optional. So for me, the whole discussion about I don't know why Zelda fans would want to go back to being limited. At the same time, hearing somebody have played that or Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom and didn't do some really cool stuff because you don't have to, is a negative to me because the gamers are missing out. Terrell, if you just went to the castle, beat it, and missed that whole 5th stage, and you might be perfectly happy that you're done with the game and you're moving on.
No, I don't think he's gonna miss the 5th stage. Now that I think about it, let's just say, Terrell, you're not finishing tonight. There's no way. I'd be stunned.
Well, I can't miss it now.
T, why you look like that? T
and just knowing that it's like, oh man, now I definitely have to find this thing. I don't want to finish the game without that, and it's just like.
It's a main quest.
It doesn't feel organic.
It's a main quest, but you don't have to check in with. You don't have to go to Puro and talk to her.
Don't tell me nothing, Mister. I didn't even get Epona. I don't want to hear shit from you.
No. At the end of the day, this ain't no find Epona as a quest. That shit ain't happen. In the end of the day, this is genuine story thing that happened.
If you're like, all right, I definitely gonna go to this marker. It's a main quest. Yeah, if you do that. Then I'm sure, but
I don't know. To me, I never thought about not going to a marker as a main quest, but I guess people do. I don't know.
Wait a minute,
people do, Mister. Like
everybody play the game differently, bro.
Hold on.
Like I criticize that.
It's like the only game that I could think of where main quest you can skip. That's the uniqueness about this game. To be fair, that's one of the big things about this game.
I just want to check something real quick.
Better. It just automatically means
only a negative for me looking at people who don't care enough to do it. Like for them, it's kind of a negative I'm looking at it as a negative because I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I do everything in this game. Like,
but as if you know about it, that's the other thing. You have to know.
You don't have to know. I didn't know about it. I made
sure. How you know you missed it then?
Missed what?
Because I did all the main quests. I did all. At the end, I saw the quest. I missed some side quests, but I did it. I did everything. Like I wasn't gonna. Miss
at some point, it tells you how many questions you did.
Okay. The main thing I was gonna say is the main quest thing doesn't pop up as a main quest until you like start that engagement.
As soon as you probably beat the 4th temple,
I don't know where the hell you're going if you're not.
It probably updated your quest log once you got all the once you did the 4 temples. I'm sure you got a marker on your map now.
Well, what happens is after you do the 4, it says head to whatever to talk to Pyra or Pyra.
But was he going to?
You see, Ayers is talking about some auto build shit in the depths. I don't give a fuck.
Let's see.
I mean, you don't have to do that. There's nothing.
But it makes the game easier.
The main quest I have.
Let's help it out though. Yeah.
The main quest it has is the Crisis at Hyrule Castle.
And it's going to say, talk to Pura.
No, it just says Princess Zelda suddenly appeared at the floating Hyrule Castle alongside the Red
Maybe
Room.
There's a cutscene that she gets involved in. But yeah, I mean, once you get close enough, it's going to engage a cutscene.
Now, great, I talked to Pura, and that's when they saw her again.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I haven't been to the castle, so I was going to the castle next to see what that's about.
Yes, yeah. No, you'll
trigger the quest. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty confident you'll trigger it, but you might have just said, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the castle and beat it. You might have just said.
I'd be stunned, man. That's like some tough shit.
This shit is unprecedented, man. I've never not beaten a Zelda in the year it came out. This is unprecedented for me.
Well, T, where are you at? I remember you.
What does that mean?
Wait, T, where are you at? Because I remember you were playing it a lot too. Where are you at in it?
I have Zora Domain left as far as dungeons go.
Oh, so we were on the same area until yesterday then. Because yesterday is when I went through the. It's funny. It's funny because my nephew was over. And
I haven't done any tiers.
I was going to ask you, how do you had 70-something hours without the Master Sword or any of the tier? What are you doing? Like, not this isn't like, I'm just curious. What have you been doing 70 hours that you don't have that yet? Like some of that stuff.
I've been doing what I do. I've been in caves a lot. I've been in the depths pretty good amount of time.
You've been doing shrines?
I've been doing shrines, yeah. I probably have 60 shrines or something like that, 60 or 70. So
to me, I did the shrines
I'm
because
just turning the game on.
I don't know if you're retro death and just walking around.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe you just admiring the view.
I'm not doing that. I'm not really doing that at all because it's like I said, a big part of the game is Breath of the Wild, whatever. I mean, obviously it's different. I mean, I'm not stupid. I know that, but I haven't spent that much time really on this on the surface other than to open up the areas and piss off.
See, for me,
I think you've done the opposite then because I was on the surface the majority of the time.
I was tired of dying.
I haven't spent hardly any time in what is it, the desert, Gerudo.
Well, it just shows how everyone plays different. And look right now, J Biggs. I don't have the Master Sword at 190 hours. I don't know if it's possible.
What?
Damn!
I did all the shrines, all the light roots. I got all the gear, all the Yiga Clan stuff. Leveled up a lot of my gear, and I have 180 hours. I'm like, some people just like Retro Death. They just love going around, doing no fast travel playthrough, and it's gonna take you a long time.
I
only have 75 hours. It's not, I mean, that sounds like, oh my god, you only have 70. But that to me, that's not a lot for these newer Zelda games.
A lot.
Well, admittedly, I haven't played it in a while, and I do want to get back into it. But I played like 80 hours, and I finished the game. I did a lot of shrines, a lot of the deaths,
But you were like, your side quest count was way low, wasn't it? Because I was like 40 shy of whatever the total is, and I did.
I was stunned when I saw your side quest. I was like, oh, holy crap! You did that all like that quick.
I wasn't like, I go to an area and then I would just I do all the quests for the area, and I was like, well, here this quest wants me to go down south to the the island. And I'm like, I'm not going there yet, so I do everything around there. Then I went to that area, and I was all right. Let me complete the quests that this area was involved, had this area involved with the pirates and all that, and I did all the quests in Hateno Village before I left. I did all the quests in drawing a blank again on the tropical village on the shore in the south.
Evertide Isle.
All the shrines. There's a great pride. Like I have no desire to go through all the shrines and all the light routes. It's just not something.
The shrine or the prize is cool, about. But I don't like it.
I actually really love. I find it really fun to just roam around in the depth scan and the light routes personally. Like I like that little routine.
See, my drive is more.
I don't like being in the dark, so that's just.
My drive was about.
Great, I don't like being in the dark either.
My drive was about finding all the light routes. That was my drive. I'm gonna find all the light routes, and then you're like, somebody said it. I didn't figure out on my own that the light routes are all below the shrines.
My bad. I think I put that in there.
And I was like, once I knew that, then I was like, oh, I got these light routes. I'd switch to the above ground. Oh, there's no shrines there, so I just mark them and go do the shrine.
Yep. Which is very cool. I think it's really cool.
I'm kind of a checklist. Like, all right, there's this many shrines. I'm gonna get all the shrines. I'm gonna get all the light routes. I'm gonna find all the gear. I want all the outfits. I want to max out. Obviously, you max out your hearts and stuff when you get all the shrines. I did all the shrine quests. I want to do all the side quests, but that one. I don't know. I did not expect the quest to be. You could miss them if you progress something else first, because Breath of the Wild I don't think had that. Maybe it did. Maybe I missed quests I didn't know.
You could
not open world games if you do something else.
Yeah, because Hetsu, if you don't find them, there's a quest, because I watched Gab Smulders play. You talk to him right in front of the tower town, whatever Pua's at. He's right around there, and you talk to him, and there's a quest just to do something simple. And I never did that. And by the time I found him,
I think I actually did that one. That was one that I think.
By the time I found him, he was inside the walls, and that quest was no longer available. So,
I think I like that, and I also don't like it because it's like, fuck, I wanted to experience that thing.
It's cool if it's a game that can be replayed. That's not going to be.
That's another thing. I don't want to go fucking through a game that's hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
So that's why. For sure. That's the down part of it for me.
I wish I could. I wish I could find those quests and complete the rest and have them all. And like for me, like I want to get my hearts up, so I did a bunch of shrines first because I was just dying. And then I couldn't find. I had like 2 shields. Like all the time, I had 1 or 2 shields. I said, you know what? Screw this. What's up, Jeremy? I didn't know you. I didn't know you checked out the podcast. He's Mr. Apple. He wants Nintendo or Apple to buy Nintendo guy I mentioned before.
Oh, why? Yeah. What?
But yeah, he definitely wants a more powerful Switch. I'd love Nintendo to have more power, not be hindered by underclocked CPU and GPU.
Well, you'll get it this year. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as powerful.
They can still do great games even with limited power, but I would like to see them not have to cut some.
They want the Switch to be fucking $800.
Yeah, that's
they wanted to be at a price point that somebody wants, or that's a impulse buy sometimes.
In 30 years, you'll have your wish in terms
of 2 more generations. You'll have.
My god!
The problem is, $400. What's the Steam Deck's $400, and that has
right.
What they just added the. Can you get? Did they add more storage to the $400 version? Can you get like a couple hundred gigs at $400 now? Didn't they?
I thought it was always 64.
The Steam Deck isn't the $400 now come with more?
They don't do 64 anymore. It's 256.
I mean that's
no. It's only 512. I think 512 only in 1 terabyte. Those are the only options.
Oh wow, really? They would.
So you got to look at can Nintendo get to that level? But then you also have to figure if there's dedicated hardware close to Steam Deck level and games are made from the ground up for it, they're not, optimized after the fact PC games, they're going to get a lot more out of, like Nintendo would get a lot more out of dedicated Switch to equal level to Steam Deck than
plus potential DLSS.
Yeah, so then just trying to optimize like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, try to optimize it down to Steam Deck the best they could versus building the game from the ground up. Because I try to explain that to my PC fanboy buddy at work who just lives, breathes, and dies PC, and I'm like, he's like, well, who cares about the Switch 2 with the Steam Deck and the all these others if they're more powerful? I said they can be more powerful. Nintendo, with dedicated hardware, developers can get more if they make a dedicated game built for that system. So anyway, to finish up the Tears of the Kingdom, like I understand, like I'm saying, I personally don't want like to only like, I wouldn't mind them to do split off and do their open world games and then do a traditional style, like a top down, like a Links to the Past.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I want them to evolve the temples into the new style. I like the open world Zeldas.
Okay, yeah, but
I think people don't hear me when I say, I'm not talking about you specifically, but when I talked about this, they think, oh, I just want like Ocarina of Time or something. No, I like the open world, but I also feel that you can incorporate those puzzle room dungeons that I got on the old Zeldas, because we have shrines where you go in and they take shit away from you, right? And they're limited. So don't act like you can't do limited things in this world, because you can.
But can you still go wherever you want, when you want, do them in any order type of thing? Or do you want them to try to make it a little more structured?
Yeah, you should be able to definitely you can still do them in any order. I don't see why that would change. I just want, that to me, that is a big part of what Zelda is the puzzle box, dungeon rooms and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff takes planning, and I think they just don't want to do it. I think it takes a lot of, it takes thought coming up with those puzzles for those rooms and stuff. I just think they don't want to do it.
I would love,
it's not they can't do it,
the open world, like exploration stuff, like really cool, like you said, puzzle based dungeons, like beyond what they ever did in any of the other games. Like just really go get creative with puzzle solving stuff, and also force some kind of, like, this may seem like a step backwards for some people. Don't go fight Ganon until you make some of the stuff required. I don't care how you do it. Have Link just turn around and have a thing say, "Oh, I can't do that yet," or something. I mean, yeah, that might seem stupid, but there's so much cool stuff. Don't make it optional, or people can accidentally miss it. Somebody might want to do some of this stuff, but they just miss it, like, and it's like there's.
I think it's fine to make it optional, personally.
I mean, side quests, but like really cool, really like big main event stuff. Well, yeah, it's part of the main quest, but you can still
I do miss special items. I do miss that, because for the longest time, the title of the game was about that special item.
Yeah.
Right? And I missed that. I missed the Wind Waker and that being an important thing. I missed the Ocarina being an important thing. I missed that. Skyward Sword, like, these are important items in the game that were in the title of the game.
What happened to the Triforce?
I missed that.
Like, why?
And I don't give a shit about the Triforce. That makes me so sad. Like, the Triforce is so cool, and they just don't care anymore.
So,
and
we got the way it's going to be? Fox in the chat. What's up, man? Jay Biggs, Prince Revolver, Lenny. I haven't called you guys out. I've seen you've been commenting. Some people say they don't like open world. Who was that? 12 feet. Well, yeah, we know you hated Breath of the Wild.
What the fuck?
We already knew that.
Jesus.
Well, I'll say the thing is, for this era of Zelda, whatever this new era, I don't know if they're gonna go completely with, hey, you could beat the final boss whenever you want. But for these two games, again, there's really not games out there that do that, and it is so impressively designed that they manage that you can do whatever at whatever. That's kind of the impressive things about these two games. I don't know if they're always going to continue that, and I think maybe they don't need to. But for these two games specifically, it just works where it's just like your mind is blown. Like, wow, it's just super impressive. That you can tackle these in any order and whenever you want. And
I think would say
magic. See, you don't think that's impressive?
I mean, no, I've seen a lot of games where you can do that. That's what I'm saying.
Like which ones?
Like most people don't do it. Just why people want me to go to YouTube, put in like a speed run or something like that. You'll see people
like. Oh well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about breaking games and stuff, I mean, that's sequence breaking.
Beelining, you can beeline some of these open world games if you want to. It's not really that much fun.
Where Zelda did it, I didn't really like that aspect of Link Between Worlds. I felt like everyone's like, "Oh, that was them testing the waters for Breath of the Wild out of order stuff."
We're renting items and shit.
But they're renting items, and it's just like you go do I think it was like a water temple. And if you didn't, I think it was the bombs. If you didn't have the bombs,
was that in Skyward Sword too?
No. You had a path. You could go. I think there was a spot where you could go two different ways, but like if you don't have the bombs and try to do the water temple, it's like I don't think it's impossible, but it sucks. And I was like, what? It's not. This isn't fun. So I looked, and they're like, oh, get the bombs before you go do this temple. And I'm like, did it? And I was like, yeah, why didn't they just make that? Hey. Put a little icon of bombs on the outside that says, and they might have did that for some of them.
It's okay. That's okay to do that. I'm cool with that. It's like,
the renting items thing was dumb. Go find. I'm sorry, the renting thing was dumb. I never cared for that.
Why? I didn't like the renting thing.
You're gonna need them and then they just bought them anyway. Like it was a dumb idea, I thought. But I still love the game. It was it was one of my favorite games of 2013, and
it was a direct sequel.
And it 60 FPS, 60 FPS game.
Right.
On the 3DS. Looked great. 3D
with 3D on, bitch. So I don't hear none of this bullshit.
They're going to do a remix and be 30 on the Switch.
In 2D.
Amen.
No, I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, we're into the second hour, so let's talk about...
Down goes PS3 controller.
So we're all Switch owners. Everybody, Robert has an OLED Switch, so we've bought I don't know. You're still on the original Switch?
Well, I don't have the OLED.
No, I said everybody but Robert. You're just still on day one?
Oh, okay. I thought you said everybody and Robert. I'm like, did I? When did I buy one?
You on the launch Switch still?
Yeah, my day one.
So,
my day one Switch.
Oh God, it hasn't fallen apart.
No, y'all savages.
Here's the thing. What
it's funny. My stepdad's thing is crumbling apart. But I think that's because of other reasons. But
so Robert, we'll start with you, and you don't have to don't just maybe one thing to start. What do you want from the Switch in 2024? Like for you to say, that
was a good year.
This is a good year for me. This is for me using my Switch in 2024. This is what I want to happen. I just dropped.
It's tough because it is. Because realistically, unfortunately, Nintendo's in quite the weird predicament right now where I feel like we're all anticipating a new console this year. so it's like we're just sitting here like, yeah, I mean, whatever they release is whatever. I feel like, for me, because it's like they already had a crazy year last year. Then now you got Prince Peach, and we'll get the new console in the next few months. So I'm kind of like sitting here. I'm like, I would love them to still do. Franchises they haven't done yet, like a Rhythm Heaven, and just if it is let's say the last year supposedly, let's say, yeah, just bring out, don't let it whimper out, and have some cooler games that you still haven't made games of in franchises, like just stuff like a Rhythm Heaven, stuff like that. They don't have to be the next hugest new 3D Mario game. Because I get that you want to say that for the new console, but hey, I would like to see games like that, then that would maybe be taking advantage of new hardware, or like a Rhythm Heaven, for instance, right, is not going to be like some crazy thing where they can't just patch in a 4K patch or something for the next console. Let's make it nice and easy. Like it's going to run at 60, very likely on the modern Switch with Rhythm Heaven, and then also on the newer ones. So it's just something that, since it's backwards compatible, hopefully we just kind of move on and with it. But at least they have new, cool, compelling software that is from their other franchises that haven't used.
Sandstorm brought up a good point, though.
Where's the Rhythm Heaven? That's what I'm saying.
What are you gonna do with your current strategy of playing games? I know you have exceptions. If Nintendo releases a new Switch and
again, it just as in like what if it's like enhanced or something like
this
different?
Year. All right, end of 2024. Like you got Mario Kart 9. You got a new 3D Mario game. And you got, let's say, within the first.
It's really, again, the only thing that will stop me from is a new 3D Mario game.
You're gonna buy a new.
I'll pick up Mario Kart for sure.
You're gonna buy a Switch 2 at launch and play one game and then go back to your.
And no, because they're very likely. I have faith in Nintendo that they're gonna do the backwards compatibility where it's gonna be like upgrade some enhancements and stuff. I really believe it, and I think
if it's backwards compatible,
if that Bayonetta thing is true,
enhancements.
You're gonna use your Switch 2 to play when you finally get.
Look again, the Bayonetta 3 thing with I'm hoping you get a lock 60 whatever of that. It can happen.
So you're gonna be using your Switch 2 to play cross-gen games, are you? Huh?
Hey man, that's what I did with my PS5 and my Series X.
No, that's why I love my PS5. So I mean, I get it, but yeah, I was thinking, like, are you gonna like buy a new console 2 years from now? Or are you gonna buy it at launch and play some of the games that come out?
Well, I said, it's like with the I mean, literally, my first PS5 game that I played was Final Fantasy 15, right? But it just, and to be fair, it was enhanced. I couldn't play it on 60 on my PS4, the regular base one. So it just like with any hardware and stuff like that.
Let's just say it isn't backwards compatible though. What if it's just?
Oh, that'd be devastating. I'd be unbelievably devastating. I mean, but also I'd be lying to myself. I said, "Oh no, I'm not gonna play the 3D Mario Day 1." What are you kidding me? like I have to play. Like I have to. I literally have to. And yes, it'll be one game. But think about it. Just like every like Nintendo console, that you gotta like that 3D Mario is that system seller, and it's gonna sell me a system. So if they don't launch with a 3D Mario, then maybe not. Maybe I won't buy it day one. If they launch with a 3D Mario, I'm there.
It's day one. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So Terrell, what do you?
Been a long time since they've done that, bro.
What do you want from a Switch in 2024?
Yeah. Yes.
So from a Switch, you mean like from a Switch 2, right?
No. What do you want from the Switch in 2024?
More games? I'm trying to think, if we're trying to be specific, I would like the Switches, if this is supposedly the Switch's final year, I wanted them to go out on a bang, and especially if the new console is backwards compatible, I definitely want that transition to be smooth as hell. So it's like, hey, bro, we got like 16 new games this year, and you're like, oh shit. And that new console we got, you can play them immediately on all of them. Like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, I was not thinking about the Switch 2 with this question.
Well, we're just talking about this.
What do you want from the Switch 1 in 2024?
I know it's tough.
I just want some cool and interesting games like Nintendo always makes. I don't know. To me, there wasn't a lot. There's not a lot to that I can really explain. I want some cool shit. I want some new shit.
So you want them to not throttle down? You want them to just...
What franchise, what new game would hype you up the most?
You want them to just keep putting out their big titles on the Switch 1?
I'm going to the assumption that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, so yeah. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because if the Switch 2 isn't backwards compatible, then there's no way you would see any more major, like, huge titles if they're about to transition into another console. But if the console's backwards compatible, then I can get whatever the fuck I want and not have to worry about anything. Because I can just buy a new system if I want to still play it on a new system. As far as specific games, I'm kind of content with the IPs that I already fuck with. I've gotten a lot of that, and I'm happy with those. So at this point, I'm just happy with any unique, interesting experience we get. Like the Peach Showtime game is a good example of I didn't ask for that, but I'm not. Hey, it'll be bought in March.
That's true.
I just want some new shit. The one thing I think Nintendo gets dangerous at the end of their cycles is they start remaking and porting a bunch of shit, and I'm just like, if I'm as a Wii U owner, we've learned this gen. You ain't shit. You shouldn't have bought nothing. You should have supported that console because every port we got was just, if you hadn't bought that console, that would have been a new game for you. But because you bought the console and you supported those titles, that game means nothing to you. So, and that's the part that fucking sucked. That to me has been one of the worst things this gen. It's getting a line of games and half of them bitches you've already played. It's like being punished for being a gamer. That's what it feels like, low key. I just want.
Yeah, but it's my favorite game. It's my favorite game, Terrell.
No, listen. There are certain titles that will excuse, like Mario RPG, Thousand Year Door. Those are things I'm like, okay, those are classics, and people have been asking for stuff for those for decades. Okay, if you told me Earthbound remake, I'm perfectly fine with that because that's a classic. Okay, but fucking 3D World Bowser Fury is not on that list. Okay. It's a great game.
That shit came out. Come on, hey, that was like 3 years ago. At this point.
The point I make it is, I'm not gonna get excited about that. If I can get some new, unique shit from them, I don't really give a fuck what it is. Nintendo is usually pretty
Captain
good.
Toad 2 would be awesome. A Captain Toad 2
I'm perfectly fine with that shit because it's a sequel or a new experience that I don't already have on my console.
Arms 2.
Don't fuck with my emotions like that. Don't do that to me, bro.
I don't know why we didn't get another arm. That's some bullshit. But yeah.
Hey, bro. Listen. That's what I'm like. That's why I said like when I'm not. There's no real specifics I can get into. Like,
well, I was kind of trying to just steer you away from thinking about the backwards compatibility part because my answer is Princess Peach, and then whatever games they want to remake or port. I don't want any new games. I don't want any major game. Princess Peach is the last new game I want them to put on the Switch. Like for me,
okay.
And I'm not saying that's what I don't want them to quote unquote waste, like an awesome new game coming out like they did, even though it's a remake they did for Samus Returns. At the end of the 3DS when no one cared and no one bought the damn game. And could have been a really cool
or Samus Returns
launch game or launch window game for the Switch. Like I don't want that to happen again. I don't want another Skyward Sword where you release a major game at the end of the life of the Switch and
that game suck.
It sells terrible.
Damn, this man's a savage.
Because everyone's just looking for the new system. So for me personally, what I want is to do what they've basically already announced. Ports, remakes, and a spin-off game that I'm not thinking is going to be super deep in the gameplay department, and I'm not too.
So you'd be okay with a Rhythm Heaven? That's what you're saying. You'd be okay with Rhythm Heaven.
Like a small series, like like they did with the WarioWare. That we've had a couple of those. We had one last year that no one even remembered came out. Something like that. I don't want no Metroid Prime 4. I don't want no 3D Mario game.
So what if
you don't want no
enhancements?
You don't want it on the Switch, not Switch 2. Okay.
What if they do enhancements though? Dude, what if they do enhancements like the next console will be higher resolution, higher frame rate or whatever? No,
I don't care. Do a cross-gen game, but don't pull a Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro and with the Switch 2 and be like, yeah, we don't have like really a must-have game, but guess what? These games are run really well now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
No, I just mean as in. Well, yeah, I really
don't be like. Here's Metroid Prime 4 in August, and here's the Switch 2 in November, which is the best way to play Metroid Prime 4. Just save Metroid Prime 4 till November, then. Don't put it out with the hopes of having it look and run better in a few months when the new system. Just keep doing Luigi's Mansion ports. Oh, my cat's gonna jump on top of my AV rack. Luigi's Mansion ports, Thousand Year Door remakes. I don't give a shit. Mario, Donkey Kong games. Just do all that. That's what I want from the Switch in 2024.
Wow. That's quite interesting.
How about you, T?
But understandable though. I'm not against that either, just because I get that. Like I would be stunned if they're like 3D Mario game for Switch. I'd be like, really? Oh wow, isn't that that's weird? Don't get me wrong. I would not expect that personally at all.
T, do you have any thoughts or opinions?
Crashmo?
Crashmo? I never even heard of Crashmo. I've heard of Pushmo.
What?
What's Crashmo?
There's Pushmo, there's Crashmo, and there's Stretchmo.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that what you're saying? You want one of those games?
I would love to see.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's bring the Rhythm Heaven, Pushmo.
Yeah, let's dig into the more, what do you call it, portable aspects of the Switch, and let's bring back some of these classic, portable games that came out on 3DS and whatnot that Nintendo don't care about no more. Like what was it, Sakura? Was it Sakura Samurai? Is that what it's called?
Oh, Sakura Samurai, yeah.
Yeah, Sakura Samurai. That's it. Yeah. Art of the Sword, and I'm looking at. I'm trying. Yeah.
I want some Dylan.
You know what I
Dylan
want?
so bad, bro.
Remember
Clubhouse Games 2 is what I want. Robert,
Whoops.
Clubhouse Games 2. That's what I want this year.
50 more. That's amazing. I'd buy it.
Fucking UFO, whatever, 2. That's the kind of games I want.
That was part-time UFO is generally a fun game. I know you did
this guy. Where are these people at, man? Where they at?
Hey, Rocket 3. Yes, I want it.
Where are you guys?
You know what I really want from the Switch this year?
Shin-in game.
In 2024, Hi-Fi Rush. I really want Hi-Fi Rush. I will play that game if it's on the Switch. I'll play that game at 540, 30 FPS. That's what
he's lying. He won't play it. He'll never touch it.
It should be at least 720, 60. I mean,
I don't know about 720, 60. I can see it being. It's probably gonna be like 720, 30.
You know, it gotta be 60. No. Fuck out of here. Then don't put it on the Switch. Yeah. It got to be that game has to be.
I said that about Doom though, and it played pretty well at 30.
Yeah.
I was like, this is absurd. You and OJ were doing like a podcast or something, and I'm in the chat like, this is unacceptable. And then I bought it, and it's like, yeah, it plays pretty good.
It's a timing, rhythm, music game.
You're right, though. Rhythm game, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a. I mean, I haven't played like Parappa and stuff. I don't know if that's 60. I'm sure it is. But I don't know really any rhythm games that are not 60.
They better be 60.
Somebody asked me what if the Switch 2 doesn't come out this year.
Oh,
that would be.
It comes out. It comes out March 2025, so it's like early next year.
Yeah.
Instead of like.
I'm just saying, basically, I don't need any other major games on the Switch until the Switch. Like, I'm good. The library.
So you're content with the Switch as it is.
I mean, you're content with the library, like it's done. You're good.
Honestly, the next game I buy might be a Switch 2 game at launch with the Switch 2. Like, I don't have any plans of buying any. Obviously, they haven't announced that much, but I'm not planning on buying Princess Peach or any of the remakes that have been announced. There's maybe they could do some Pokemon.
You're not buying Princess Peach?
I mean, at this point, I'm not seeing anything that shows me it's worth owning.
You fake ass Nintendo fan.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be
Nintendo put up.
I want to see, what the game actually is, like what you're doing, because I have.
This man said, Glover 2, give this man a medal.
What?
Glover 2.
I'd love to see like a Rogue Squadron port or remake, 30 FPS, 1080p. None of the original Star Wars music because they probably didn't want to pay for the licensing. Just like, yeah. So if it doesn't come out this year, I guess, they'll have to have something. They'll have to have something.
You gotta have something.
Perhaps they'll have just some random we're dropping Super Mario Maker 3. Like what
64 too? Stop it.
Just don't put out like a new Donkey Kong game or something. Because honestly, I mean. Depends on when they announce the new system, when it's coming out. I just hate for something to get like.
I want Star Fox, bitch. I want Wave Race.
I just don't want. I mean, if they were gonna release them,
F-Zero.
They need to have been announced and be coming out in the first half if they actually have a new system come out.
Would you mind them dropping out on the Switch? As unannounced games, news? No, they probably wouldn't.
And they're in hand.
I'd be
like Wave Race. They could do a Wave Race or maybe an F-Zero. Oh, here's a surprise F-Zero game.
At this point, Wave Race and F-Zero, like they could be technical showcases for like the next console.
I would like, yeah,
that is true.
Those two games I would rather see.
Those two especially.
I'd rather have a little.
Like I get, like if they said, "Hey, we're dropping a Punch Out," I'd be like, "All right, cool, I get that." You know,
okay,
like a new Punch Out.
That's another like. You know, that's not something to get like me personally get super excited about. But that's a good series. That would be a cool game.
12 feet, man, you killing me. you giving Breath of the Wild all this shit, and you talking about you really love Quest 64. Nobody really loves that game. Nobody.
What about 1080 snowboarding Wave Race like combo game where it's like both two games in one?
Yeah, but again, that's gotta be a technical showcase for the next one.
I agree. Honestly, I'd love a Wave Race if they get the water physics right, but it'd make it even better if it looked stunning too. So
that's what I'm saying. It's gotta be those type of games are like at this point, like I want an F-Zero, but like I'm just thinking like, all right, just gotta make it for the next console technical showcase, man. That type of game is like that's a holy crap. Look at this run on this.
Soundtracks to what? The Quest 64? I don't remember what that game sounded like.
Water,
I remember it's just terrible.
The Burning Shores DLC, you can drive like a boat, and you know it's not like a racing game. You don't get out of the water, but just like hitting waves and that with how realistic the water looks, I was like, man, it gave me fantasies about a Wave Race game.
But, they just look. I think we got the line, man. Make it.
Aris had a great point there. That is what made those games. Star Fox and Wave Race were about the technical stuff, and that's technical showpieces for the hardware. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what they should do this year is Punch Out, a Rhythm Heaven, and release Princess Peach.
And the remakes and ports. What's another like
7th gen March?
What's another? You got my money, yo. If you do it.
What's like the next like 7th gen collection type stuff?
Far Cry collection. There you go. The Far Cry collection.
Well, not because
3
barely ran on the 3 barely ran on the 7th gen. Like it barely ran on the Xbox 360. It was playable.
Well, I mean, the 3 bare Switch is more powerful than that. They could do something.
Did they do Tomb Raider yet?
No, they didn't do the newer Tomb Raider.
No, they didn't do Tomb Raider yet. No.
Yeah.
But they are doing the original 3. Isn't it coming out real soon?
Was it this year or this month in February?
I don't know.
I think it's February.
It's really soon.
That has the swap between the newer visuals and the old style.
I'll grab that.
Clocked it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they should do like an Endless Ocean game, right? But that's like also could be a technical showcase game.
It wasn't on Switch, but it looked nice on Switch. But the music and the just relaxation of it was.
I know we.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's just
that would also be another game that could be a technical showcase. So you know what? That's the thing.
Bring out the Excite series. Excite me.
Just wait, Nintendo. Just release.
Bring back Excite Truck.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That was actually pretty.
Excite Truck was cool. No, Excite Truck was cool as hell. It was like one of my favorite launch games on the Wii.
See, Lenny says I want to see Pilings, but I think that could also be a technical.
It's another technical showpiece game. So.
To be honest, Nintendo's got a lot of IPs they can do that for.
They got a lot of IPs that they can use for specific things.
If we're gonna say it's the last year, I just want a bunch of niche shit, like a bunch of stuff that people just forgot about and just said, "Hey, why don't we just throw these games out? Hey, look, what was that
detective game, the NES game getting remade?
Mother 3?
Yeah,
can we get that?
Get what?
Mother 3.
All right, relax.
What about Smash Brothers 64 on the Nintendo Switch Online, so you could play 4-player online with that?
Ooh, I don't care anymore. Smash Remix is just too good, bro.
Yeah,
it's too good.
They
got Conquer, Banjo, Sonic. They got the fucking piano from Mario 64.
That's hilarious. The piano is crazy.
That's insane. It's crazy. It's the best time to be alive as a gamer who grew up with the N64.
I was thinking of what game was I thinking I was gonna try to get the emulation for? Just God, I was watching a video yesterday, and I was like, man, I might.
Goemon, I forgot Goemon's in that shit. They got everyone in that bit, bro. Ganon's in it. That's crazy. And you think, oh, wasn't Ganon in? No, he wasn't in the original Smash.
No.
Did they just clone some of the moves from some of the other games and put a character on them?
They clone some, but they actually, they go in and.
Cause I mean,
Conker has the fucking pot and shit. Like he pisses on people.
I'd be a little curious about the balancing though when you just have people modding this stuff in. It's like it seems like it could be easy for a character.
I mean, they're not Sakurai, but
yeah, if like they make a character that's just OP.
They try their best to balance it. I mean, this is version 1.4, and they putting work in. They're actually they're not just throwing shit out there. They are balancing it.
Well, I was wondering if they could grab move sets from characters in newer games and just like put Banjo. Well, they have Banjo.
I think they did that for Ganon and stuff like that. I think they took from Melee and shit. Yeah, so
that's cool. God, what else?
They don't have Banjo-Kazooie. I think that was too hard.
I think I just saw it. I thought I just saw today that was at some. I thought it was Banjo was added.
In Smash Remix?
Yeah, because I saw the post today, and I don't know if it was.
I saw they added Spider-Man.
They added Spider-Man. Are you serious?
Yeah. If you go on the Smash Remix YouTube channel, they were.
God damn it! I just bought the lockdown version, and now I can't play it. I've been waiting for like over a year because I knew they kept renewing it, kept updating it, and adding new people and the shit. So I was like, all right, now I'm gonna buy the cart. And
they actually have his like some like.
Are people playing it just via emulation? How do you get it on your N64 if you don't buy a cart? Is there like a SD card?
Yes. What is it? What's that shit called? Everybody has these fucking things.
Like a flashcard sort of thing.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, it's like a cartridge flash card deal. You can download stuff too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't forget the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my roster here. My roster. EverDrive, thank you. Yeah, EverDrive.
I thought you were going to say Ever Oasis.
Thank you, Donnie. EverDrive.
You go, Ever Oasis too.
Codename Steam port to Switch.
Shut up, bro.
Codename Steam.
Y'all be trying to make me sad. Relax. Y'all be trying to make me sad, bro.
There's only 3 people I know like that game. Me, Terrell, and what's in it? Video gamer Nia.
And me.
There's more to that game than people give it credit for. That's what makes me mad about it.
Bro, it had Abraham Lincoln. Ever since that, I've always wanted him to Smash.
Abraham Lincoln, Alien.
You just wanted an excuse to have Abraham Lincoln in Smash. That's what kind of made me mad about it. I'm like, this man using this as an ulterior motive. The fuck?
I'm not sure they could do that legally, but no.
Yeah, but I was like, legally, I'm pretty sure that's not something you can get away with.
I don't have Kazooie in my roster. I don't see you getting that.
He's officially a Nintendo character.
I got Dark Samus, Wario, Mewtwo, Giga Bowser, Mad Piano, Conker, Wolf, Marth. Is Dr. Mario in first Smash game?
No, there's only like 8 characters.
So yeah, I forget. I mix it up with fucking Melee and shit. So yeah, but in the stages too, they got Mad Monster Mansion. Is that Banjo or is that Mario's? No, it has to be Banjo. Mad Monster Mansion is Banjo-Kazooie. The stage, the haunted house stage. I mean, it's cool. It's cool what they're doing, man. That shit's amazing.
It's just crazy what fans can do to like keep games going or fix games and like notorious. Bethesda's is notorious for people actually making their games playable.
Right.
Years later, Skyrim I guess has some really cool mods and stuff that really make the game.
Cool ass mods is coming to my Starfield too, boys.
But also they add things that actually make the game, enjoyable and playable. So.
Yeah, like calm down. The game's already
no, just like enjoyable. Like they fix a lot of like glitches, that game breaking stuff. And it's like that's cool that's how do people figure out how to crack the Switch by like going into safe mode with you use a little paper clip or whatever to stick in there. Like how they
figure out the brain. Yeah, people just have a mind for that shit.
It's bizarre.
Obviously they knew it already because it was similar to like Nintendo's. They had changed.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it was off the shelf basically for the NVIDIA. It's like the NVIDIA Shield 2.0. The Switch is. So I'm sure they went with that premise. It's like, well, okay, I can do this to the NVIDIA whatever, and then let me see if I can do that to the Switch. And that's how they figure shit out. Based on the quarterbacky.
What'd you play?
Lamar Jackson, not quarterbacky enough.
Oh my god!
They come up with all kind of shit to talk about us black folk, don't they?
Shut up, bro. We're not doing this. It's only Monday. What the fuck? Damn.
Monday quarterback. But yeah. What was I saying?
I don't know. We're talking about Smash.
Move on.
But what else? What else do we want to talk about?
What is the meaning of life?
What's coming out next? What's the next game? I know The Last of Us remastered, 2 remastered. I think.
And then the
like the
next. You also got the Final.
It's Yakuza Infinite. Yakuza Infinite World.
Yakuza Infinite.
Yakuza Infinite World. Isn't that what it's called? I thought that's what it's called.
I like what it's
Like a
like
Dragon Infinite World. Like a Dragon Infinite World. They changed.
Infinite World. Yeah, Like a Dragon. No Yakuza. That's gone.
Yes,
like
no more Yakuza. I have to get used to it.
It's gone. Don't say it's gone, bro.
What when does that, they don't use it anymore. I think the Yakuza must have knocked on their door or some shit. You can't use that shit.
Probably. Final Fantasy VII remake part 2 in that early this year.
Yes, next month.
I thought it was.
And then that Team Ninja game comes out, I think, in like March or something.
That comes out in March. Yeah, Rise of the Ronin. Yeah, that same with Tekken 8 comes out, which I don't know if you guys.
I didn't play the demo. I saw it was available. I didn't check it out.
Ain't no black people in it, so I don't care.
Wow, shut up, bro. He was like, black people are in it. What? I hate T, dog. See that one friend, see that one uncle at a barbecue you never want to talk to because he gonna say some out of pocket shit. So you heard Uncle Judy and cousin Daryl are fucking, right? And you're just like, God damn, bro.
Damn. Did you guys?
When you talk like this,
did you talk about the whole
what?
The whole people talking about hi-fi on Switch.
About it.
Juice didn't want to talk about it. He said he don't like that.
Well,
kind of
I
shit.
think it's interesting. Like I said before we started, like people can want what they want, But I do. Yeah. I think you and I agreed. Like it depends on how it depends on how it's worded. Like if someone's like a Nintendo fan's like, oh, Microsoft needs to port Hi-Fi Rush to the system, then yeah, that's just.
I think it's
why should they? Why do you because you want to play it? Go just play it on PC or get an Xbox.
They
need to put it on the Switch. But if it's just like Microsoft was announced, just like with Cuphead or Ori, they just announced it was coming to the Switch.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be like, well, what does Nintendo get out? What does Microsoft get out of this deal? Why doesn't Nintendo get? I don't see that argument. In that situation, I don't see that argument.
Well, my thing is like the whole the
they get, when they get out of it, they get money when they buy their fucking game.
Yeah, I'm saying the tweets that I saw that was annoying is like, oh, where's the exchange and Nintendo's going to trade? And I'm like, it's not a trade. It's Microsoft.
It's a company doing business.
It's like Microsoft is going to go get some more money with their games that maybe have slowed down in sales or something. That's it.
And talk about Microsoft as if there's some little kid that's getting taken advantage of or some shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
they're a fucking company.
Like, oh, well, we didn't get anything. How can they get what?
Microsoft wants Japan. What better way to fucking get people
on Switch in Japan
than to put this shit on the Nintendo console?
Minecraft on Switch in Japan is a huge seller.
Huge.
Agree.
It's like, or now if Nintendo came to them and says, "Hey,
can we get Bayonetta 3? Fuck out of here with that shit."
If Nintendo called them up and was like, "Hey, we really like Hi-Fi Rush on the Switch," then yeah, Microsoft say, "Well, all right, well, we'd like." Let's make a deal then. Can we put something?
But if they did, like, my thing is, I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, Nintendo fans be like, "Oh, you didn't get no Mario. You didn't get like why is it okay for you to get Microsoft games but Nintendo could just can't do that? Like that's weird to me too. Like,
well, I think it's just like well, we know they're just not gonna do that. I guess that's the thing is we know they're not, like, realistically. But it's just like my big thing is that, like, I in a better world, like, to me, like, I've always said since 2016 at this point that it does bug me that Microsoft puts their games also on PC. So I would like it if I buy the Xbox. It's just
virtual felons, man.
But in the end of the day, I've realized over the past 8 years that it is what it is. They put their games on whatever, and 9 times out of 10 I end up playing their games on the Xbox anyway, right? So it's as long as they release a physical version on Xbox, you got my deal on that specific platform. But they make their money wherever they want to make money. They want to grow the ecosystem of Xbox. They do it in different ways. Everyone has to sign up for a Microsoft account for Minecraft, whatever platform you're on. You know what I mean? So it's like there's different ways for them to expand their grasp, their hold, and that's cool. And this would just the end of the day,
some stuff, man.
Yeah, I think when that first got announced that they were gonna do that, I mean, it was a pretty big change for console gaming.
That was a cool initiative, right? Like, the Play Together initiative, when I thought that was cool. Obviously, Microsoft got into that because they wanted something out of it, not Nintendo game. They don't give a shit about getting Nintendo. They wanted the access to regions that they don't have much, influence in. That's what they get out of it. Like, but on the other side, I don't, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if they did put a Nintendo game on the console. I just don't think that's in the cards. But, like, I don't understand the oh no, you can't do that. You give me everything. You can't have anything. Like, first of all, that's not the exchange. That's not how it's working. It's not like you give me a game, I give you. That's not how it works. It's not about that at all. Like, that's just a stupid premise to begin with.
Yeah, Nintendo will make some revenue on, if, let's say, Hi-Fi Rush sold 1 million copies, they're gonna get whatever. I don't know how.
Yeah, they get their cut. Everybody gets their cut.
Small ass cut. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. Is like, in my mind, why did they
something like that?
It's like how you said. They're not like. It's not like Nintendo's like, hey, you better port that fucking game on our system, okay? Or we're gonna go over there and beat your ass. You know what I mean? They're not saying that. Microsoft's just like, all right, let's think. What can we port to expand the audience? That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, and they probably pick games that they think will sell.
And games that would run on Switch, first of all, but also fit Switch audience. Hi-Fi Rush is that game. Switch fans, Nintendo fans would love Hi-Fi Rush. Like, it worked.
Yeah, of course.
Super Lucky's Tale, that made sense. The Ori games make sense. Cuphead made sense to come. Like, I get it. Like, now if they talking about, we bringing we're bringing Hellblade 2 and shit, then I would be pissed off as a Xbox fan, because that's some bullshit right there. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's not like they're bringing Halo and Gears.
Right, Halo's not coming to Nintendo. I don't know.
What about Halo DS though, T?
Man, that was a whole nother time, a whole nother place.
Look, I was by the.
That's another thing. Microsoft doesn't really see Nintendo as that type of competition to them. Obviously, they're all in competition. They're in competition for our time and money. but they don't see them as the type of competition that would really affect them that way. So they don't mind putting certain games over on Nintendo and shit. Like that's just they don't really mind to do that.
And I mean,
now all these Sony fans who think they're getting Hi-Fi Rush, y'all need to sit down somewhere. That shit is not happening, bro. It's not gonna happen.
I thought that's a bridge too far probably for Microsoft. They didn't bring any horror games. Did Cuphead?
They just brought over As Dusk Falls.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, Cuphead.
Remember that one, As Dusk Falls? They just brought that to PS5. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you see it launch on Switch first, like Hi-Fi Rush, and then a year later bring it to PS5.
Is it Dusk Falls on PS5?
It just brought it like last month. Yeah, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you were like,
there you go.
Just look at it from a business perspective, like the Switch.
And that's what like a year and a half, 2 years after. So
just look, we went over the PlayStation like all-time best-selling games, individual games, like all time. Not the PS5 only was on there because of the cross-platform, cross-gen. A couple of the games were cross-gen. Like they added Ghost of Tsushima, the PS5 and PS4, but the majority of the sales were PS4. But you got a system out there with 120 million plus whatever it is now, games selling 20-30 million, and you're make a game, you put it on your system, and like 2 million people buy it, and that's not profitable. You gotta think that. I even think they've had discussions behind closed doors, like, man, how can we? And that's why Sony's bringing some games to PC. I truly believe that because
the writing was on the wall. See, Sony was, I guess Nintendo was kind of the last bastion, but I think Sony realized that they can't sustain what they do, being behind that locked wall garden or whatever, and because the games just cost too goddamn much. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't. I mean, $300 million for Spider-Man, and most of that is the goddamn license. That's where a lot of that money comes from, is the license.
That's crazy to me.
They can't sustain that. Like,
yeah, when their games
just can't,
unless their game's selling 20 million at full
you
price.
You saw the leaks, right? You saw the leaks of the documents.
Robert told something about some of the prices.
Yeah, they basically said we're going to do what Microsoft is doing. And basically what they document said they're looking at mobile and basically becoming an app, the same way Game Pass is. So, and they were talking about how they really far behind the competition when it comes to that stuff. Obviously being Microsoft.
It'd be one thing if
they waited too long.
Selling 20 million each, like putting all that money
right
into God of
That's
War.
Another, it's like you look at like Nintendo first party and the what do you call it, what is it called, the attachment rate is much higher on Nintendo games.
There's some Wii U games that make the top 20 all time.
Well, that's what I was saying. Mario Kart 8 on Wii U makes the top like
10.
I think. Yeah,
what is it? 40%? 45% of people who had bought a Wii U got Mario Kart.
PlayStation history, not even PS5, PlayStation entire history.
Like that's
we're talking
insane.
100 million console, 150 million console, 80 million console.
Yeah. How did the PS2
10%?
Well, I tell you what,
that's craziness.
If you read up on the sales of the PS2, it's crazy how low those game sales are compared to what you think in terms of like you think they'd be selling 40 million. There's not a single like 40 million.
Sold
the highest selling.
The PSP sold 80 million units. Look at the fucking sales of the games though. The games hardly did anything.
It's crazy.
Weird.
Why is that?
Well, I was listening to
I wish I knew.
DVD player?
I was listening to a history of video games book. I just finished it, right? And they were talking about the PS2 launch and how it launched it was weird. The hardware sales were very strong, but the software sales weren't. And
that wasn't weird.
And the best selling PS2 item was some DVD. Or something, or like some DVD.
Exactly, because the PS2 was $200 cheaper than a standalone DVD player at that time.
Crazy.
Of course, the hardware was going to sell.
It's just crazy.
Of course.
That's one reason. That's another reason I want the Switch to overtake the PS2 because
just because of pure gaming.
Just look at the game sales. Look at the I mean, Mario Kart's not technically an exclusive, but the Switch version.
But it deserves to. It deserves it because of those strong
Animal
library of sales.
Like what it sold. The PS2 should have multiple 20, 30 million sellers with that install base. And
I'll tell you right now, I actually don't even.
What was the best-selling PS2 Sony?
It's San Andreas. It's San Andreas.
It's San Andreas. Well,
the one that Sony made, like a Sony game.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. So
party.
The best-selling
Gran Turismo
is 17.33 million with San Andreas. That's the highest on 150.
155 million units sold.
Number
17 million units.
Number 2 though is actually surprising. Number 2 and 3, this is both.
God of War
is Gran Turismo 3 at 14.89 million.
A-Spec was pretty big.
And number 3 is Gran Turismo 4 at 11.7.
Gran Turismo 4, yeah. Gran Turismo sold really well on PS2.
2 isn't on there? 1 or 2?
No. Oh, God of War 2. Okay, I'll tell you where God of War 2 is.
It's in the tops, but it's probably like
2 is
8
number
or 2.
16. Number 16 at
16?
4 million? What about 1?
Wasn't that
really? That's kind of crazy.
1 is 4.61 million.
Jesus Christ! Everybody.
But again, hold on. To be fair, they came out really late in the PlayStation's life cycle.
God of War 2 especially.
It was 2005 or something.
I mean, think about the console that we're talking about here, though.
But still, is a console that sold 20 million units after nobody cared. So that game still should have sold well.
Isn't that crazy? Like, and it just goes to show the real difference between this console and like the Switch, where it's just like this console really was used for DVDs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, it's like, I was there. We were there. And people were buying that shit to play DVDs because it was $200 cheaper than the DVD player.
Think about this. Number 5 best-selling.
They lost a lot of money on that fucking thing. They lost $250 per unit sold. $250.
Well, I'll tell you what. They did some crazy shit in terms of sales that they really undercut Sega. That I didn't know about this type of stuff. Where for GameCube, I believe too, where they were like they randomly like. One of their announcements, they were like, the GameCube is going to be whatever price, and then all of a sudden, PlayStation out of nowhere cut their price by $100, and it was like, oh my god! I was
gonna say, they did that shit to Saturn. Saturn came out. Well, they came out.
And they did it again, after
$299, and then Saturn was like, all right, we'll drop our price down, and Sony dropped that bitch down again $100. It's like, fuck. It's like, ain't shit we can do now. They said, fuck it, we'll make a new console. We can't do this shit no more.
So the 5th best-selling
killed Sony with or Sega with that shit.
Get this: the 5th best-selling PS2 game is 8.5 million with Final Fantasy X, right? 8.5 million is what like the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 sold on a 13 million console.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
So the point I was getting to is if you have this Goliath selling system. If you have a game that you feel is right for the system that it can run, that you can port, and you can get 1 million sales or you can make some money, I mean, why wouldn't companies at least play around with the idea, at least discuss it? Like at this point, just suck up the pride, say, I'm not expecting like, mainline God of Wars or Uncharted or anything, but like not like Returnal could run on the Switch, but something like along that line that didn't really sell that well. The PC version, I don't think sold
like
that.
Tearaway.
Something like Tearaway, something like Astro. Yeah. Astro, even though it's a VR game and the other one's like a DualSense showcase, it really wouldn't work on something else.
They could do Sackboy.
Sackboy, stuff like that. I mean, it would probably, their fan bases would probably get upset, or the diehards would probably be mad because they're mad about the thought of even like a port or like Last of Us Part 1 coming to PC, like why? It's like, who at this point, who cares? But, they'd be upset. But why wouldn't these companies at least think about it with something like the Switch out there? Now, the same, if Nintendo was struggling, if their game sales were tapering off, they might think about doing something on PC or,
I don't think they have to worry about that for a while because people just love Nintendo consoles. Like people look at it. There's a huge nostalgia factor when it comes to Nintendo, and people will be like, well, at least I know I'll get a box when it comes to Nintendo, or I'll get some cartridges, or something that I'm used to having. I grew up gaming with. and they can hold that niche. And I say niche when fucking console sells 130 million plus unit. There's not a niche when you can do that, but they will hold that for a while because they're the toy company of gaming. So they'll be able to do that for a while after everybody else has abandoned it. And imagine if Microsoft and Sony don't have a console and Nintendo's still putting a console out. Like that's a huge, that's crazy. But Nintendo's always been profitable until Wii U with their hardware right out of the gate. They've always been profitable.
Yeah,
so they can do it.
So Terrell, where are you at in the game right now? Did you go talk to Pura?
I'm in the castle doing that where Zelda's like, Link, I'm waiting for you.
Your name? Pura?
Yeah, it's Pura, I think.
Pura. He said Pura.
Why you say it like
so
that,
you went to the castle?
Yeah, I'm in the top part of it. Where Zelda keeps saying, they keep showing spots where Zelda's at. You go to the spots, they're really monsters. You have to fight the monsters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'll be real with you. I literally pulled it up just to check something, and then shit just kind of went left, low key.
I think that quest leads into the 5th stage quest, if I'm not mistaken. After you do the castle stuff.
I would hope it does, considering it doesn't feel like the end of the game stuff.
I didn't want to say,
I figured it did anyway.
But
honestly, the moment you brought up the 5th stage,
think you have to go do it.
I mean, again,
like, it really does.
It's been a while. That's a great point. I want to say some Prince of Evolve point. It is funny because I feel like, respectfully, the ponies, Sony guys, they are 2016 Xbox right now.
Ooh,
because they were like, you know what I'm saying? They're mad about PC ports and all this stuff. Their game's going to PC. Game Pass is trash. Oh wait, now you have the PS Plus, and they have that now. So everything that they like crapped on before is like now they're just kind of having to continue moving goalposts and just continue to like concede things until they get to a point where they've been beaten down so much. It's just like, all right. This is who we are now. They gotta let that shit go.
I don't understand why the PC ports bother people so. I guess maybe.
I understand. It doesn't make sense.
We want to keep our stuff on our console. What the fuck?
Exactly. They feel like if you put something on another console, you are devaluing their purchase. Their $500 console.
It's pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've always said for me,
I don't like those PC guys. I don't want them having my games, and that's how. It's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I look. I've said it since then. I totally understand it because at the end of the day, like I said, like if there one day comes a day, and I know there will be one day where like if it's generally both Microsoft and Sony, they just also release games on PC and it's only digital consoles and stuff. I likely won't buy both the consoles because like I'll just
why would you need both?
That's different to me. If you put fucking God of War on Xbox, that I can understand that. But who cares if it goes to PC? Like that's that's what I'm saying. Completely different market.
I'm saying a PC because I'm saying like as in for me personally, like I would just invest, the $1,100 that I'd have to spend for both consoles. I would just put it towards a PC.
And that would get you a graphics card right now.
Exactly, for me, and I know other people may not.
You couldn't build a PC right now to play.
No, I'm not saying building. I'm not saying building. I'm just.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying. My point is why people get upset.
Your point is,
I understand on the console level,
library and all that type of stuff, and unfortunately, if I like owning those consoles, all that type of stuff, but if you one day comes to a point where it becomes redundant, I'm like, shit. I guess
here's the thing:
no reason to buy it.
Microsoft or Sony won't give a shit. Microsoft already doesn't care if you don't buy the console. Buy the fucking game. Beautiful. Buy Game Pass. Beautiful. We just want you in the ecosystem. We want you spending money on our shit.
I like that idea of this is what makes that console. That's what makes that console. I like owning that for that reason.
No, I'm with you. Like I totally. But I'm also. I also understand the future. That's just
I know. I've understood that's what it's going to be from here on. It is what it is. I've lived to just live with it.
I wish we can go back to the 5th and 6th gen type of stuff and can we just stay there? Can we just stay where they made AA games, AAA games, and it was just a beautiful time in gaming, and everybody was making all kinds of stuff. It wasn't like they weren't, this is too much risk. It's too expensive. They were just being creative as hell and just making all kinds of games.
Well, I wish with Sony. I remember what was the guy's name? I forgot his name. The last leader. He was talking about the mid range game budgets where he's like, it's not. I mean, you always bring up where it's like he says it's not sustainable.
Sean Layden.
Sean Layden and he even brought up, and he's not the leader anymore, so I don't know where their head's at anymore. But it's like, he said, hey, we gotta eventually. It's gonna eventually come to the point where we gotta come back down to earth essentially and go back to that mid range sort of budgets. Really sort of thing.
Especially when you're selling 8-10% of your games to the fan base who swear all over Twitter it's all about the first party. Well, buy the fucking things then. Why you ain't buying them shits?
Yeah,
like you're playing Twitter. You should be playing your fucking first party exclusives. So,
and they look, and my big thing with and that's why I own the Series X and stuff, and I love the fact that I would always say, I put in this 360 copy into my
I love that
2020 console, and it just booted up the damn game. It's crazy.
And from 2003.
Yeah,
my further. And that bitch is 4K 60. That is beautiful. Crazy. I love that.
It's nuts. And also, in the end of the day, like they still release physical copies. So like I have physical copy of Forza Horizon 5 and
I do believe Xbox and PlayStation as well. They're going to continue releasing a box. It just won't be as much pomp and circumstance around it. Like Microsoft is already trying to wean.
I just want
the guys off the idea.
I want them to keep releasing the physical.
But that's the thing that I don't I don't foresee, because fucking games are 160 gigabytes, man. You know what I mean? Like you can't put that shit on the disc. It's not on the disc. It's already not on the disc because the disc can't hold that shit.
Well, I mean, look at Alan Wake. They didn't even bother. They're like, we're good. They're like, we're good.
We ain't even do it. We good. Like that's
what I'm thinking. Like Hi-Fi Rush. I'm hoping that by the time I get to it, I hope they have released a physical version of that.
I hope that's part of this whole situation where either the Switch will get a physical or they both get it at the same time.
Well, they better both get it. That'd be weird.
I'm still surprised it hasn't gotten a physical yet, honestly.
I'm surprised by that.
Psychonauts took a while to
get limited run, or somebody hasn't said, hey, we're doing a run of it. Something.
Yeah, but something like Psychonauts 2 took like a year to get a physical.
It took a while. Yeah, that is true.
We could see
Psychonauts
that happen.
2 did take a while.
And look, I I waited, but I got my physical Psychonauts 2 copy. It's nice, and they made it a little bit special. So they got like a thing where it's got like the covers a little bit different. I really like the game a lot. But so as I just want them to keep releasing physical copies. That's my big thing. Is I get it.
I was gonna say, even when they release physical copies, it ain't really. There's not a whole lot going on with that disc.
It's not like yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? But, like that's the sad part, because they know they can update it later or do all this stuff. So
I'll be curious to see what they'll I mean, we're not going to see the effect of like the Call of Duty side of things for a while. Like, first of all, say Call of Duty.
Why is Call of Duty 200 gigabytes? Get that shit out of it.
How? Because I wonder if what Microsoft's going to do in the next. I mean, this next decade of gaming is going to be super interesting because like there's so much it's going to be going down, and
they've got to get these sizes under wraps though. I mean they need to start compressing this shit better. This is insanity. Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Is it too big? They don't have to be that big.
Yeah, that's why I think. I wonder if they'll. I don't know. Microsoft, he'll be like, hey, blah blah blah. Because how big is Starfield? How many games?
Starfield's about 120.
Oh, is it really? Shit.
Oh yeah, it's huge, man. And it's only gonna get bigger. It's gonna be 250, 300 gigs by the time they're done with it.
Well, again, but it also, yeah, I mean, obviously, it depends on the scale of the game, but yeah, crazy.
I don't know what you guys were talking about the last few minutes, but that whole idea of like, well, I bought a PS5.
I was talking about like physical games, well, like hopefully to keep it.
To a point I was gonna make was like, oh, I spent $500 on the PS5 and I bought this game. How dare this person who spent $2,000 on their PC get to play this game without buying a PS? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
it'd be one thing if it's like, I guess there's the debate about the day and dates mean more than, but at the same time, unless you have a PC and then you bought a PS5 and now you're like, oh, I didn't need to buy this PS5. PC. If you're like, I didn't need to buy this PS5, I could have just played these games on PC. That'd be one argument. But like, oh, this guy over here, he didn't buy a PS5 and now he gets to play Returnal on his PC 2 years later. How, like, that's ridiculous. Like, I said that about Nintendo. Then I did a Juice Opinions and people disagreed with me. I was like, if Nintendo just wanted to make their own online store on PC and launcher and put their games on there, it's like, I don't care at this point. Like, you can't, now with Steam Decks, maybe that would be a little more. That would definitely the popularity of the Steam Deck and the portable PCs would definitely affect that decision.
Like, don't do it. I'll get that shit myself for free.
Yeah, that would affect. Now they wouldn't. That decision would be a lot harder for them to make, because then they're like, they couldn't say, well, if they want to play it portably, they still need the Switch, because now you have a bunch of other options.
But yeah, well, you say that, but I saw this video recently where a guy was talking about pirating. Forget who it was, but he was talking about one of the highest pirating markets is freaking Brazil. And it's because the games are so goddamn expensive.
No. Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason that they pirate so much there. If you, maybe it was, no, it's Alex. Maybe if you make these fucking games more accessible, not maybe, the statistics show, you make these games more accessible, the pirating fucking goes way down. People stop pirating as much. And that's just a fact. So, it's a lot of it is also on these companies to make their games more readily available to people.
Well, for I think it was Argentina and a other place for Steam, they updated their I guess where they're at, the Argentina, like instead of doing whatever, I guess pesos, I forget what the currency is, but they have it where it's just set to US dollars. And so now they're spending, I mean, so much, because it's not even equivalent to our dollars. So they're spending like so much money to the point where it's like, what the hell? Like now, like they're spending like triple the amount for one game. It's an insane thing.
A few years ago.
By the way, the median income in Brazil is like $20,000 US.
I know it's like super low.
It's super low. Everything's super expensive. Yeah, people gonna steal that shit. Of course.
Yeah. You're essentially not giving them a choice, you know what I mean, in that case.
Yeah.
No, one thing. People bought Hogwarts Legacy in 2023.
I was like, what?
I just seen
22
a tweet,
mil?
22 million, and I don't know if that's probably worldwide. I know it was number one in the U.S. sales up until like
game. So 22 million and couldn't get one nomination for Game of Year, Game of Goldie.
No, man, you don't need it.
It was the best selling.
Is the reason.
Finally dethroned the Call of Duty game for the first time.
And that's
in a decade,
that's
over
a peak right there.
And that's with all the protests. It was pretty loud. It's a small group, but it was pretty loud about canceling that game or anybody who's playing.
Yeah, very vocal minority. Well, people don't live in reality. We live in our bubble, but realistically, the people outside the bubble don't even know what they're talking about.
So, there was a lot. It was people. I mean, James Stephanie Sterling. Talking about
don't bring that girl up or guy.
You're not an ally if you buy this game. Don't say that you're an ally.
I'm a villain. I don't give a fuck, man.
Are you serious? Like, really? You're that petty?
Don't buy the game that lets you.
You had so much trouble getting people to change and get on your side because you have these fucking staunch ass stances about everything, and you just alienate the shit out of people who are your allies. You just piss them off too, and so that's why you have so much trouble.
And then you had people who probably aren't, the cause wasn't that important to them, but just trying to like cancel and get after some of these people who were playing the game. They probably didn't give a shit about the politics of Hogwarts at that point. They just were getting caught up in this, oh, we gotta can't pick a big streamer and try to get their shit shut down, and they're like reporting them for inappropriate, like Girlfriend Reviews pointed out a bunch of nonsense. People were reporting inappropriate content, and then they're getting blocked based on all this number of reports and without any evidence. And like, yeah, we were playing the game and we were laughing at it. We weren't like, we were making fun of some of the wonkiness and glitchiness of the game, and we like our income was stopped for 2 weeks because of these reports that we were posting, like inappropriate, like sexual or harmful or hate speech. It was hate speech. It's like, what the fuck, you know? It's like they were abusing the system, and it just made them. It made anyone who, maybe somebody who is part of the community that's positive, everybody gets lumped into this thing of like, oh, these people are freaking, they're stupid. Like, look what they're doing. Look how harmful they are. Like, and it's a small group of even that small group that were making everybody look bad.
In a Hogwarts Legacy, like you can
have a transgender character as your main character.
Can't you have like a transgender character? They're very the developers of the game were very open about it. You know, the
developers of the game, the actors in the movie all renounced this lady. But they still, you know, this still is a legacy that involves them, and they're trying to be as cordial and inviting as they can, and you're just gonna shit all over them because you have this like one-way stance about it. And it's just no, like
now people you already have people who already look down, like who already like have a phobia of like anybody that's not like them. And now they got all this negativity surrounding
you're making it worse. You're not making it better.
You're hurting. It's just stupid. But I'm just glad the game sold well because it's a good game. It's just they had a lot of passion. You could tell it was.
I'm enjoying it.
It was kind of cringe. Some of those videos. It was, you know, when somebody was super excited about the game and they're trying to show it off and talk about it, and I was like, is this real? Is this genuine? Or is this like they're just? And then you play the game, like, oh wow, like they actually put a lot of shit in this game. It's.
And if you play the game, you're guilty by association.
Yeah, it's stupid. So
you always were, man.
No, you agree with her. You bought her game, so
don't go see those trash movies she wrote. Well, I don't know about the second and third one. I didn't watch them, but the first movie was.
Yeah, I didn't care. They were garbage.
She wrote those.
I'm sorry, Robin. You like
the first movie is not great. And the second and third didn't look any better. I just rewatched Sorcerer's Stone.
The enemy, Robert, so I don't care.
She wrote that. She got a lot. She produced that. She got a lot of the money from that. Don't go support that if you don't like her. Don't focus that energy on something that she's not.
She's gonna get royalties for the rest of her entire life on Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. You're not stopping anything by trying to boycott some video game that she had nothing to do with, really.
And she had nothing to do with the story. To me, it's a great story that should have been the movie.
The goddamn movie.
It's a perfect storyline for a movie.
I'm sure, man.
I don't know about
it's like Nightfire. It's like Nightfire, and like what was it? Fucking the Diamond one, Pierce Brosnan. The last one he did, Die Another Day. It's like, why the fuck did you make that the movie? Nightfire should have been the goddamn story. Like the game's stories were way better than Pierce Brosnan's fucking movies were. What was Nightfire and what was the other one?
Tomorrow Never Dies or something? Or no, right?
No, the games. I'm trying to think of the EA games. Oh my god. He had it was Nightfire, and then the one that I was after, it was like a third person action adventure one. It wasn't first person anymore. And that one was like it had like Hollywood star. It had like what's the model chick? She had that show. She used to be the Seal.
Rogue Agent?
No, not Rogue Agent. Rogue Agent is It was all right. The story was, the story's okay. Somebody help me in the chat. I can't remember the name of it.
Everything or Nothing.
I just don't feel like going to look.
Everything or Nothing.
Everything or Nothing. Yes, it had like Shannon Elizabeth in it, and it had the blonde model. She went on to do like a modeling show. I can't remember her name, but Heidi Klum. Heidi Klum and Shannon Elizabeth were in the fucking game. And EA was so good then, man. Like the story and all that stuff was great. It felt like you were playing a damn movie. It's like, why isn't this the fucking movie? Why am I watching Die Another Day when I could be watching Everything or Nothing? Like, come on.
So you think Tears of the Kingdom didn't reach that much when it sold 18 million in its first 2 weeks in like May? That's crazy that wouldn't have reached.
I mean, well, yeah, I guess we wouldn't know until Nintendo says.
We don't have the numbers on that. Nintendo will tell us when they're.
Well, because unfortunately, the crazy part is, that's the insane part is, they were showing like the best-selling games of the year, and it shows like Tears of the Kingdom at like number 3, and it doesn't include digital sales. That is nuts. There is no other console company that could do that.
Were the others counting digital?
Everything else is counting digital. It's only Nintendo games that don't count digital. Isn't that insane? There's no other.
Nintendo announces their numbers, I would assume that includes digital.
They include digital. Yeah, they include, that's their overall sales. But when it comes to like NPD and all these other dudes, they don't include Nintendo Digital because they don't reveal it to them. They do it themselves.
So it's probably the highest selling game of the year then.
Isn't that insane? How the hell? I mean, we talk about how everything's all digital, but Nintendo somehow is like, I feel like I would like to know their digital to physical ratio, because it's definitely not the same as the rest of the industries. There's no way.
Viewer request.
Hey, God. It looks like almost the actual in-game visuals on the sticker.
Yeah. It does. It's pretty close, pretty accurate.
But
there you go. You happy now?
Literally, there's no other company that is released that will have that physical to digital ratio like Nintendo. It's insane. It's like for some reason people buy more Nintendo physical games than a lot of the other like companies. I don't know, it's weird. And to think that somehow number 3 is Tears of the Kingdom and doesn't include digital. I would love to know what the hell that is. That's insane.
I'd guess at least a couple million, at minimum 2 million.
The minimum, yeah, you would think. I mean, I don't know.
All right, well, I think get out of here so Terrell can go fight Ganon, and
I can make more progress. Try to finish it before our game of the year discussion.
I was gonna try to finish Avatar.
You're gonna push it another week?
I was just like, you know what? Open world games like this for me don't work for me to just go day after day. Even Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, yeah, it's hard to put down. Like Hogwarts, I played pretty consistently, but I'm like, I'm just gonna push it. I'm like, I don't know. Let me try this quest, and I was like, oh, that was a good quest. I'm glad I didn't skip that. I'm just gonna slow down. I'm just gonna play it. I'm not gonna force. I took 2 days off from playing it. Now it'll be 3 because of today. I'll get back into it. I'm enjoying the game. It's got some, it's fun to play. It's beautiful visuals, music's great, and I'm enjoying it. But I don't want to sacrifice my enjoyment just to try to finish. I've seen a video where a guy's like, yeah, I just got the credits at 25 hours, and I'm like 15 hours in, Avatar? And I haven't even opened up the 3rd area, and I don't know if there's a 4th area.
That's gonna happen.
And I'm just
gonna happen open world games.
I'm like, I can't even imagine being done in 10 more hours. There's so much stuff I want to do. Could you imagine playing it for 870 hours and not recommending it? Yeah. Not recommended. Thumbs down. I honestly don't think there's 800 hours unless you restart it. There is a lot of quests though. I was going to ask Robert because Valhalla, I think you said, had a lot. You go to there's you got your main home tree tribe. You have your resistance base, and then there's smaller little trees with a few people. And everyone I go to, like 3 people want to give me quests, and then there's like part 1 of the quest, then there's part 2 of the quest, and I'm like, then you find like, you know, in the movie they had the little portable Avatar bases where you could where they went up in the Hallelujah Mountains. You find those stations, and as soon as you find one, that activates a quest. And I'm like, I got like 15 quests open, and then the main quest, and I'm like, I stopped talking to people because I was like, I don't want any more quests opened up. Like, there's just too many. There's too many quests.
You clearly haven't played The Witcher 3 or anything like that. Jesus. Every town you go into, there's like a fucking board of quests, and you just pick them all off just because they're there. You don't want to leave them. You have to take all the the quest logs down.
I will say though, same thing with I felt it with Tears of the Kingdom once I started just making the hover bike and flying. At that point, I had seen a lot of the world, but I got my Ikran, the Banshee, and I'm flying for like 5 hours straight. I'm just flying everywhere, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. This area is foggy in the map. I'm just gonna land, and I'm just gonna start walking west. And I forgot how like amazing, like dense the jungle is. How like I found like a drilling plant when took that out, and found like a quest where you like follow the river north and stuff, and I just found a bunch of cool stuff and just was in the world, and like I had forgotten what it's like to just walk around on the ground and just appreciate the environment and the world that they created, and it's like when you fly above, I think that's why Horizon, they didn't give you that flying mount till late in the game, because once you get it, you're just flying over everything, like you're missing out on all the cool little details. So, but anyway, we'll get out of here. And should be back next week, and then the following week I think will be the game of the year, Retro Death. Yeah, because the 15th, 22nd. Yep, 2 weeks we'll do our game of the year. Robert be hosting, same categories as last year. Should be a fun time with get the clapping working.
Right I'll make sure it works.
You're gonna do the 1 minute thing because that was fun having it 1 minute timer. So. All right. We'll see you guys next week. And I didn't